How did Bruce Lee die? They said it was a couple. They said he was upset because of his discovery success in the film industry and for taking martial arts around the world. That he upset the triads. The shocking and untimely death of martial arts legend Bruce Lee at the age of 32 has long been shrouded in mystery. For decades, Chuck Norris, his close friend and fellow martial artist, kept silent about the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. Now, Norris breaks his silence with shocking revelations that challenge everything we thought we knew. Was Lee's passing a tragic accident, or does a darker secret lie hidden? Join us as we delve into Chuck Norris's revelations, uncovering the startling truth behind Bruce Lee's final moments. The unlikely friendship. In the late 1960s, two rising stars in the martial arts world, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, crossed paths at a pivotal moment in their careers. Lee, who had already made a name for himself with his Hong Kong films The Big Boss and Fist of Fury, was eager to expand his horizons. Norris, on the other hand, was a world champion in karate, having won numerous tournaments and titles across the United States and beyond. Their first encounter took place at the All-American Karate Open Championship in 1967, held at the Grand Madison Square Garden in New York City. Norris emerged victorious in the competition, showcasing his exceptional skills and technique. But it was Lee's dazzling martial arts demonstration that caught Norris's eye. Impressed by each other's abilities, the two martial artists met backstage after the event, engaging in a lively discussion about fighting styles and philosophies. As they delved deeper into their conversation, Lee and Norris discovered a shared passion for the art of combat. They recognized in each other a kindred spirit, someone who understood the dedication and discipline required to excel in their chosen field. That's when they made a decision that would change the course of their lives and the martial arts world forever. They would train together in Lee's backyard. Lee, known for his openness to learning from others, saw an opportunity to expand his repertoire. Norris, with his expertise in high kicks, convinced Lee to explore techniques that reached above the waist. Prior to their training sessions, Lee had subscribed to the belief that a martial artist should never kick higher than the waist. However, Norris demonstrated the importance of versatility, showing Lee how an opponent's unguarded head could be a prime target. Recognizing the wisdom in Norris's approach, Lee embraced this new perspective and incorporated it into his own style. As they trained together in Lee's backyard, nestled in the heart of Los Angeles, an incredible transformation took place. Lee, already renowned for his speed and power, began to refine his high kicks under Norris's guidance. Norris, who stood an impressive 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed a solid 160 pounds, marveled at Lee's ability to generate such incredible force from his compact 5 feet 7 inches, 140 pounds frame. Within a mere 6 months of training, Lee's high kicks had reached a level of mastery that rivaled Norris's own. But the exchange of knowledge was not one-sided. Norris found himself captivated by Lee's innovative approach to martial arts, particularly his development of Jeet Kune Do. Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee's innovative martial art philosophy. In the realm of martial arts, few concepts have captivated the minds of practitioners and enthusiasts as much as Jeet Kune Do, the brainchild of the legendary Bruce Lee. More than just a fighting style, Jeet Kune Do represents a philosophical approach to combat and life itself, one that challenges conventional wisdom and seeks to transcend the limitations of traditional martial arts. At its core, Jeet Kune Do is a hybrid martial art that draws from various disciplines, including Wing Chun, boxing, fencing, and even dance. Lee, a man of unassuming physical presence, recognized the need for a flexible and adaptable system that could be tailored to an individual's unique strengths and circumstances. He believed that martial arts should be a means of personal expression rather than a rigid adherence to ancient forms and techniques. Central to the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do are the principles of simplicity, directness, and freedom. Lee sought to strip away the unnecessary flourishes and embellishments that often characterize traditional martial arts, focusing instead on practical, efficient movements that could be applied in real-world situations. He emphasized the importance of economy of motion, using the shortest path to achieve maximum impact. The physical demands of Jeet Kune Do are considerable, requiring a combination of speed, power, and finesse. Lee himself was known for his lightning-fast punches, which were clocked at a staggering 85 miles per hour. To put that into perspective, the average punch in karate is around 25 to 30 miles per hour. Lee's kicks were equally impressive, with some experts estimating that he could generate up to 1,800 pounds of force with a single strike. The Way of the Dragon, Lee and Norris's iconic collaboration. In 1972, the worlds of martial arts and cinema collided in spectacular fashion with the release of Way of the Dragon, a film that would go down in history as one of the greatest collaborations between two legendary figures, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. The movie, which was written, directed, and starred in by Lee himself, showcased not only their incredible martial arts skills but also their deepening friendship and mutual respect. Way of the Dragon, also known as Return of the Dragon in the United States, tells the story of Tang Lung, a young martial artist from Hong Kong who travels to Rome to help his friend Chen Xinghua and her uncle Wang, who were being threatened by a local crime boss seeking to take over their restaurant. Armed with his extraordinary kung fu abilities, Tang Lung takes on the gangsters and explores the city, immersing himself in the ancient culture of Rome. With a budget of just $130,000, a mere fraction of what Hollywood productions typically cost at the time, Lee and his team managed to create a cinematic masterpiece that would go on to gross over $30 million worldwide. It was a staggering achievement, making Way of the Dragon the highest-grossing film in Hong Kong in 1972 and cementing its place as one of the most successful martial arts films of all time. Central to the film's enduring appeal is the iconic fight scene between Lee and Norris, which takes place in the historic Colosseum in Rome. The scene, meticulously choreographed by Lee himself, is a masterclass in martial arts cinema, showcasing the contrasting styles and philosophies of the two fighters. Chuck Norris's shocking theory about Bruce Lee's death. For decades, the untimely and tragic death of martial arts legend Bruce Lee has been shrouded in mystery and speculation. But in recent years, a new theory has emerged, one that comes from a surprising source: Lee's close friend and fellow martial artist, Chuck Norris. In a shocking revelation, Norris has shed light on the circumstances that he believes led to Lee's demise, painting a picture of a man driven to the brink by his own relentless pursuit of perfection. The story begins in 1968 when Lee suffered a devastating injury that would change the course of his life. During a routine training session, Lee attempted a weightlifting exercise known as Good Mornings, which involves bending forward at the hips with a barbell resting on the shoulders. But something went wrong, and Lee felt a sudden, searing pain in his back. He had suffered a severe injury, a slipped disc that would require extensive treatment and rehabilitation. The heat stroke theory. In the decades since Bruce Lee's untimely death in 1973, fans and experts alike have grappled with the question of what could have caused the sudden and tragic loss of one of the world's most iconic martial artists. The official cause of death, listed as cerebral edema, has long been the subject of speculation and debate. But in recent years, a new theory has emerged, one that offers a compelling alternative explanation for Lee's passing. The theory, put forth by Lee's biographer Matthew Polly in his book Bruce Lee, A Life, suggests that the true cause of Lee's death may have been heatstroke rather than cerebral edema. At the heart of Polly's theory is the fact that Lee had undergone a controversial operation just a few years before his death to remove his sweat glands. The procedure, which was done for cosmetic reasons to prevent Lee from sweating on camera, had a profound impact on his body's ability to regulate its own temperature. Without the ability to sweat, Lee was at a much higher risk of overheating, especially in the hot and humid climate of Hong Kong, where he was living and working at the time. Working on his latest film project Game of Death, the temperature that day was a sweltering 90 degrees Fahrenheit with humidity levels that made it feel even hotter. Lee had been complaining of headaches and dizziness but had brushed them off as the price of his intense training regimen. According to Polly's theory, it was the combination of the heat, Lee's lack of sweat glands, and his use of painkillers and tranquilizers that ultimately proved fatal. Lee had taken a pill containing aspirin and Maymate, a common tranquilizer, before lying down to rest in the apartment of his colleague Betty Ting-Pei, but instead of providing relief, the medication may have actually masked the symptoms of heatstroke, making it harder for Lee to recognize the danger he was in. As Lee lay in bed, his body temperature continued to rise, putting increasing strain on his organs and his brain. By the time he was spotted and rushed to the hospital, it was too late. Despite doctors' best efforts, Lee slipped into a coma and died shortly thereafter. Polly's theory has been met with both praise and skepticism from experts in the field. Some have hailed it as a groundbreaking new explanation for Lee's death, one that finally provides closure for fans and admirers who have long wondered about the true cause of his passing. Others have criticized it as speculative and lacking hard evidence. The Triads theory: in the years since Bruce Lee's sudden and tragic death, countless theories have emerged attempting to explain the mysterious circumstances surrounding his untimely demise. While the official cause of death was listed as cerebral edema, many have speculated that there may have been more sinister forces at work, including the possibility that Lee was the victim of foul play at the hands of one of Hong Kong's most notorious criminal organizations, the Triads. The Triads, also known as the Chinese Mafia, have a long and storied history in Hong Kong and throughout Southeast Asia. Known for their involvement in illegal activities such as drug trafficking, prostitution, and gambling, the Triads have also been linked to numerous high-profile murders and assassinations over the years, often targeting those who threaten their power and influence. According to some theories, Bruce Lee may have been one such target. As a rising star in the world of martial arts and entertainment, Lee had become a cultural icon and a symbol of Chinese pride and identity. His films, which often featured themes of rebellion against oppression and corruption, had struck a chord with audiences around the world, and his growing fame and influence had made him a force to be reckoned with in Hong Kong and beyond. But Lee's success had also made him a target for those who saw him as a threat to their own power and control. Some have speculated that the Triads, who had long held sway over the Hong Kong film industry, may have seen Lee as a challenger to their dominance and may have sought to eliminate him as a way of maintaining their grip on the business. Others have suggested that Lee may have run afoul of the Triads in more personal ways. As a vocal critic of corruption and injustice, Lee had never been one to shy away from speaking his mind, even when it meant making enemies in high places. Some have speculated that he may have offended or angered members of the Triads through his outspoken views or his refusal to bow to their demands. There is also the matter of Lee's alleged refusal to pay protection money to the Triads, a common practice among businesses and individuals in Hong Kong at the time. As a successful actor and producer, Lee would have been a prime target for extortion by the Triads, and his refusal to comply with their demands may have made him a marked man in their eyes. But perhaps the most chilling theory surrounding Lee's death on the Triads involves the use of a mysterious and deadly martial arts technique known as Dim Mak, or the Death Touch. According to legend, Dim Mak is a strike that targets specific pressure points on the body, causing delayed but lethal damage to the internal organs and systems. Some have speculated that the Triads may have employed a master of this technique to strike Lee down, either as a warning to others who might challenge their power or as a way of eliminating a threat to their interests. Despite the many rumors and allegations that have swirled around the case over the years, no one has ever been charged or convicted in connection with Lee's passing, and the true circumstances surrounding his death may never be fully known. The Lee family curse, a haunting legacy of tragedy and superstition. The sudden and tragic deaths of Bruce Lee and his son Brandon, both at the peak of their careers and both under mysterious circumstances, have long been the subject of speculation and rumor among fans and admirers of the iconic martial arts family. But for some, the true explanation for these untimely losses lies not in the realm of the physical but in the spiritual, in the form of an ancient and powerful curse that is said to have haunted the Lee family for generations. The origins of the Lee family curse are shrouded in mystery and legend, with some tracing its roots back to the Tang dynasty in ancient China more than 1,000 years ago. According to one version of the story, a powerful warlord named Li Keong had a falling out with the emperor and was forced to flee for his life, taking his family with him. In his haste to escape, Li is said to have angered a powerful sorcerer who placed a curse on the family, vowing that no male descendant would ever live past the age of 18. Another version of the legend holds that the curse originated even earlier, during the Song dynasty, when a corrupt magistrate named Li Shimon was executed for his crimes. Before his death, Li is said to have cursed his own family, condemning them to suffer the same fate as he had, to die young and leave no male heirs to carry on the family name. Regardless of its origins, the idea of a family curse has long been a part of Chinese folklore and superstition, particularly among the wealthy and powerful. In a culture where ancestors are revered and family lineage is everything, the idea of a curse that could wipe out an entire bloodline was a terrifying prospect, one that could strike fear into the hearts of even the most powerful clans. For the Lee family, the curse seemed to manifest itself in a string of tragic and untimely deaths that stretched back generations. According to some accounts, Bruce Lee's grandfather and great-grandfather both died young, as did his father, who passed away when Bruce was just a child. Bruce himself was said to have been born in the year of the dragon and the hour of the dragon, a highly auspicious time that was believed to mark him as a powerful and potentially dangerous figure. As Bruce grew older and began to make a name for himself in the world of martial arts and entertainment, rumors of the family curse began to circulate once again. Some whispered that Bruce was tempting fate by pursuing a career in the public eye and that his success and fame would only serve to anger the spirit that had long haunted his family. When Bruce died suddenly, many saw it as a confirmation of the curse's power. The legacy of Bruce Lee, the legendary martial artist and cultural icon, seemed destined to continue through his son, Brandon, who shared his father's passion for the arts and followed in his footsteps. Brandon grew up in the shadow of his father's fame, but he emerged as a talented actor and martial artist in his own right. Under the guidance of his father's friend and collaborator, Chuck Norris, Brandon honed his skills in martial arts and acting. Norris, who had witnessed firsthand the incredible potential of the Lee family, took Brandon under his wing, providing him with the support and mentorship he needed to navigate the challenges of Hollywood. But despite his promising career and the support of his family and friends, Brandon's life was cut tragically short. Beyond martial arts, Bruce Lee's philosophical and artistic pursuits extended far beyond the realm of physical combat. Lee was a deeply philosophical thinker who drew inspiration from a wide range of sources, from ancient Eastern wisdom to Western existentialism. Throughout his life, Lee immersed himself in the study of philosophy, psychology, and even drama, seeking to understand the human condition and the nature of reality itself. His legacy as a cultural icon, philosopher, and artist will endure for generations to come.